Hello friends, Klaige back with another commentary video today, and I'm going to be going over a set with a matchup that I've had a lot of requests for, which is Nagoriyuki. Before we get too deep into it, first, if you haven't been paying attention or you didn't notice my post in the community tab, we did get an announcement from ArcSys that coming up later this month is going to be the first round of balance tweaks to the roster. Probably would expect some information along with the next DLC character. I'm guessing after Evo, so probably after next weekend would be my initial guess on that. But we just know sometime in the second half of the month we are getting a balance update. They've said the focus is on tweaking characters that feel less strong right now and moves that don't feel like they have good options. So I would infer that Anji's going to get some things, but if you've never been around for an ArcSys balance patch, don't try to guess. Just don't. It's a roller coaster ride when it comes to balance with ArcSys, and you'll pull your hair out if you think you know what's going to happen. So just wait until we see some official notes. As soon as we get actual patch notes, obviously I'll make a video kind of giving my thoughts and letting you all know what kind of changes we're getting, what kind of impact I think they'll have, and all that good stuff. But with that balance change upcoming, I'm going to hold off on doing a couple guides I was planning on doing, just in case stuff changes drastically, like maybe certain combos don't work or certain things become way more optimal, all that good stuff. I'll probably hold off until we get that, because I don't want to make something and have it immediately be outdated or not full of worthwhile information. So for the time being, it'll mostly just be match video updates, maybe a couple small things here and there outside of that. But as soon as we get that information, I will definitely be sharing all that with you. So let's get into talking about Nagoriyuki. This matchup's rough. And so the reason I chose this set is it's a set where I had some pretty solid success, but the thing you need to know about this matchup going in is success in this matchup is based almost entirely around you making good reads and good guesses. The reason this matchup is so difficult is that Nagoriyuki can really pick and choose his spots to go in, and once he does go in on you, it's not a fun guessing game at all. And for Anji to go in, he usually has to take some risks. You're going to have to use auto guard in this matchup, and using auto guard comes with pretty heavy risk. You're not going to outpoke this character. They're not super easy to jump on because of his crouching heavy and stuff like that. So this is a matchup where you have to make a lot of good reads. You have to read and outplay your opponent to really have a good shot at winning consistently in this matchup, because Nagoriyuki's risk reward is just so much better off than Anji's in this matchup. So it can be rough. This one is, I think, probably one of the 2 or 3 worst matchups we have overall in terms of just how it tends to play out. So I know a lot of other people said they struggle with this matchup, so hopefully this will give some ideas on how to approach it, and I'll point out major things you need to watch for, the kind of moves and situations that'll come up often that you can hopefully adjust to and start utilizing. So let's just jump on in here. So early on, look for a throw. That move right there, crouching slash, this move is going to be one of the big banes of your existence in this matchup. This poke is ridiculous, to be perfectly honest. It's a low, it's incredibly fast. You're not whiff punishing it reliably very often. It's just a very, very, very good poke that gives Anji a lot of problems. So you have to get used to dancing around this move. Really good Nagoriyukis will watch for you to try and spin at them from distance, and then they'll throw this out when you're in recovery, get counter hit out of it. It can be rough. And then stand heavy, same thing. Covers a lot of ground. Really difficult for Anji to deal with. It starts up very fast, so you get counter hit by crouch heavy. Messes up his command grab timing, so I'll take that. We'll go to the corner. Get a nice confirm. Caught him back dashing there, so I got a bounce combo. Gonna go ahead and take my hard knockdown because I don't want to give up the advantage I just got. Blocks Nagiha, pushing buttons. And yeah, just opts not to burst, and we just take it all. So that's one of those situations where that worked out really well. I scored my 2 hits, I got the most out of them, and life is good. It's definitely not normally that easy. So, let's see. A lot of Nagoriyukis will zone with those pokes, zone with crouching heavy. Here's a really, really important thing. So, this nonsense. Nagoriyukis who make you block things and then go into the command dash, don't let them do that unchecked. there are situations where they can make the command dash in their favor, but a lot of them will just cancel it at max range after they've made you block like a crouching heavy or a stand heavy, and you can interrupt that. You can do things to that. Now, there's different layers to this where they can start getting really cute with 50% meter and baiting things or throwing super to cancel their command dash, stuff like that. But in general, if they're just doing this as part of their go-to pressure, do not let them get away with that. That is not real offense. So we take back our turn. Our turn, go under. Opt to spin meter, try and maintain as much pressure as we can, because once you're in against Nagoriyuki, you don't want to try and get back in. Catch him massing after blocking Fey Needles. And so this kind of situation is super common. So we burst, we're forced back out. We got to try and make our way back in, right? This is one of those where I just decide to make a read. I think he's going to poke at me, whether it be with far S. In this case, it's crouching heavy. But I figure at this range, he's probably going to look to poke at me, so I opt to go into auto guard. I get it. I take my knockdown. These are the kind of reads that come up all the time in this matchup. And you're going to have to accept that sometimes you're going to try to auto guard something and they're going to command dash in and grab you, whether it's regular grab or command grab. Or they're just going to back up, wait for your spin to run out, and then they're going to counter hit you out of it. So it's going to get frustrating, but you just have to accept that this is part of this matchup. Sometimes you got to take a flyer on auto guard. I decide to see if he's going to block Rin, as I like to do early in sets. Stands up, so I know that's probably not a thing anymore. Probably will use it a little bit more sparingly. This is another thing to watch out for in this matchup, is these kind of situations. I like to backdash a lot, and it's an old habit from old Guilty Gear where backdashes are very, very strong spacing tools. I've talked about in strives, backdashes aren't great in this game. They don't have nearly the iframes. They don't really move as fast as they used to. And a character like Nagoriyuki, who has very, very long-reaching active moves, can make backdashes feel real bad. And this is a perfect example of that. I just get swatted for trying it. Do jump out of a command grab setup, but land right back on top of the sword. I should have air dashed out. That was a mistake. Take my punishment for it, going off the wall. Trade there. Would have liked to get a clean hit. Here's another situation. I'm making a read. I think he's going to either swing or command dash, do spin, do something. I guess wrong. He command dashes in, command grab. I get bit. It feels bad, and it's one of those where you're just like, I hate it, but you got to do it sometimes. Same thing, auto guard to get in. Now we're in there, trying catching, pushing buttons. This time, doesn't block the Rin. We take those bursts. We take those bursts every time. I don't know what compelled him to burst here. Like, should have bursted the Ko instead, but I'm not complaining. I will happily take it in one of our worst matchups. That's a whole lot of extra damage and a hard knockdown, so hooray for us. Go in, got some meter to play with, catch him not blocking his toes, and that's a win. So, that matchup, that game right there, honestly, just some poor decision-making on the Nagoriyuki's part. Not necessarily me doing anything fancy or making a ton of good reads. It just, I was able to make what I had count. This is kind of an unfortunate little situation here. I do Ko, which makes him with command grab, but then I try to come back in and punish him for whipping that command grab, and I end up going all the way corner. Thankfully, tries to do command grab on my wake up is a little early, so I throw, which I'll take it. So now we're in the corner, kind of waiting to see if he's going to mash out. Don't leave a gap because now he has 50% tension. I don't want to get supered in between stuff. This is another common just guessing game you have to play, is this stupid thing. So Nagoriyuki has his slash chain where you can do slash, slash, slash. He does the 3 different slashes of sword. After the second one, lots of things can happen. He can let it rip, which is a pretty terrible move, all things considered. It's down a lot of frames, but if you push buttons, it'll catch you. You get a counter hit and you do a lot of damage off it, especially with meter. They can cancel into the command dash back or forth. They can cancel into spin. There's all sorts of things Nagoriyuki can do here. And another cheeky thing they can do is cancel into command grab. This is a guessing game. It's not near as good as Nagoriyuki's like meaty setup that he has after a hard knockdown on you, but it's still a guessing game that's not terribly in your favor, and you just kind of have to do your best to figure it out. This same thing. This is the crux of what makes this matchup really hard. Is all right. So I get gripped, right? Well, that's unfortunate. This right here, where Nagoriyuki command dashes in on you after you get knocked down. This is where it gets rough because Nagoriyuki has all sorts of great options here. He has one of the best meaties in the game in his close S. Super active, beats jumps, beats back dashes, all that stuff. If I think he's going to do that, obviously here I could try and reversal auto guard. But he has a really good grab. Nagoriyuki has like the second best grab range in the game and a really good command grab. And all those options are on the table here. So you just have to guess. You are literally in the guessing machine here, and there's not a lot about you can do it. I assume he's not going to swing because I have auto guard, and I end up just getting gripped. This time I jump out of the command grab. Don't get a lot for it, unfortunately. But this was the start of something nice. So this has been a rough round so far, right, to the second game. This was a conscious choice I made. So I got this counter hit, right? So I have all the meter in the world here, and I could go ahead and try and roaming cancel to catch a burst, right? I went ahead and when this happened, I've had this happen in other situations with both Nagoriyuki and other characters. Something I'll do when I'm down a giant life deficit like this, if I think I can get them to panic burst, is I just throw fan needles. Because they see me come up, and they're like, oh, that's an easy burst. Well, on counter hit Fujin, no, that doesn't reach. And it makes it so not only do I get to bait the burst, I don't have to spend any meter doing it. So when I follow up on this punish, I have meter to RC this and do real damage and get real corner carry. It's a really hard read. That is a really blatant burst bait. Like, I would not recommend that in most situations. But in this case, where I have such a massive life deficit, and I've already decided I am not bursting this round with that kind of life deficit against this character, especially one who can do as good a chip damage as Nagoriyuki can, I'm like, let's see if we cast this line out and we catch a fish. And sure enough, we do catch them mashing. And yeah, I steal this round all the way back. So another one of those, I decided to take a gutsy read. It worked out, and I made the most of it. That's the kind of things you got to do in this matchup sometimes. Is that a good burst bait? In most situations, I would tell you no, don't do that. But with that kind of life deficit, I went for it. Here's another really important thing. So if you get knockdowns and you decide you want to OTG Nagoriyuki instead of just going into another butterfly, always use Fujin OTG. Always, 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 even in the corner. The crouching heavy spin OTG is terrible against Nagoriyuki because his grab range is so far, you're just going to get gripped. So if you're going to OTG him, look to do it with Fujin. I missed time afterwards with a low kick and get knocked out, which is unfortunate. But I'm able to get back in, catch him sleeping. There we go. Same thing. If I go for crouching heavy spin here, I'm going to get thrown. In this case, I catch him mashing. Probably should have RC'd that. That could have been the round right there. I catch him sleeping anyway. Beta bad burst. Okay, good stuff. Like, this looks nice because I caught him, you know, in a situation where he kind of had to burst and he burst badly. But I could have prevented all of this by, you know, just rolling canceling that first hit and ending the game. So that's one of those things like, oh man, that looked really smart, but I wouldn't have had to try and be in that situation to make a smart guess if I just spin meter properly and do my job. So good result, but another one of those like, that could have been far less stressful and required far less guessing. Crouch heavy didn't get near as punished as I should for it. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So I see him whiff far S, right? Like, this is a pretty laggy normal. I'm like, all right, let's look to go in. He whiffs spin. Spin has ridiculous recovery. That move's obscene. We'll talk about that more as we go. But see, immediately, counter hit by crouching slash. Same thing, try to backdash. Counter hit by crouching slash. Really obnoxious move. And right now, I'm in a situation that's really rough. This spacing right here, where I'm basically at max stand heavy range, trying to auto guard here is brutal. Because Nagoriyuki's pokes, for as far as they reach, they're very fast on startup. So trying to fit in a spin here is almost certainly going to get me counter hit. And then I'm just dead at this rate if I get counter hit. So I kind of try to wait to gain some space. I end up getting grabbed. Do finally get back in. This was dangerous. This was probably not very smart. Empty Fujin is certainly a choice. We've talked about the options with Empty Fujin. Yeah, that's a lot of tension. That was not very smart. If he's paying attention at all, I just die. But I got away with it this time. Nice stuff there with stand kick. Yep. This is the same thing. The guessing game at neutral. I'm at a range where he isn't throwing anything right now. This is the kind of range where Nagoriyuki will throw out far slash. They'll throw out crouching slash. They'll throw out crouching heavy. Everything's on the table, so I'm like, I'm going to spin, try and catch him. Didn't work. I got a boot. Same thing. See him with stand heavy, right? I'm at this range again. I'm like, all right, let's spin. Nope. Gripped. Doesn't kill me there. He definitely could have. And then we get an auto guard. So now we get to play offense again. Can we make the most of it? Spin. Gets blocked. Been using that a little too much, but we get a tick throw. All right. Catch after the Fujin. What I'm doing here. Counter hit. This you can actually fully confirm, and I think I do this later in this set, but if you get this particular counter hit coming up that I get, if you counter hit this and you've already buffered fan needles, right, you can still combo after this. You can actually land and get sweep and get a hard knockdown and just reset your pressure from that. So keep that in mind. Same thing, just a rough situation. These sorts of situations right here where I have no life left are brutal. Because Nagoriyuki's normals all do chip damage. Like anything that causes the blood to come on screen and lower his blood gauge, that does chip damage, and it's not an insignificant amount of chip damage. So I'm stuck here having to FD and try and find somewhere to go, and yeah, like, just not really a good place to swing, not a lot going on there, kind of feels bad. That's one of those things that highlights why this matchup can be so rough. If you get a life deficit, it can be really difficult to get out of it. Because you have to take risks like that, auto guard, get in. Reason I don't do a bigger punish here is I'm expecting a burst, to be perfectly honest. So I just do a couple punches to see if he'll just panic burst, because then it's a free bait. He doesn't, so I just go ahead and continue my pressure with stand heavy. And I figure at that point, might as well go into spin throw, because there's only so much pressure I get off stand heavy. We might as well try and get a knockdown and really get some offense going. Same thing, catch him sleeping after the butterfly, go low, OTG Fujin, not fast enough. That shows you how good Nagoriyuki's throw is. I could have timed that just fine, I just didn't do it well enough. So now I'm in the corner. Yeah, trade's no fun. Now I'm at that range where auto guarding is now impossible. Get command grab. Terrible gold burst on my part. Could have canceled that into super, and I was dead right there for that. If he cancels that into his super, I'm almost certainly dead. Another one of those situations, don't let them just do this to you. Challenge this. Always challenge this. Make them come up and do, like, super or do something that punishes you for swinging at command dash like that. Don't ever let them do that nonsense for free. Because if you let Nagoriyuki do that to you for free, you will get run over. Really, really badly run over. So same thing. Take a risk, auto guard, we get in, counter hit. There we go. Yeah. This is super easy to confirm. Learn this. Because a lot of times I don't expect these kind of counter hits out of Fujin, and I haven't gotten myself in that muscle memory habit that when that happens, to go ahead and buffer a different follow-up so I get better damage. So in this case, it's just like, you know what? I'll just take my knockdown. Catch him again. We got nice pressure going here. Yep. I don't know why so many people get caught by that low after hop. It makes no sense. There's no overhead to be afraid of, but I'm not going to complain. Not quite enough to finish the job, but we got a lot life lead and a lot to work with. And yeah, I just called out with an auto guard there. Works out. Kind of risky to do that auto guard. Could have gave him a chance to get momentum, but again, you've got to make some call-outs. Perfect example here, though. So this time, I commit to spin before he's actually thrown anything, and now just wait and whack. Free counter hit. This will happen a lot against good Nagoriyukis. What you're going to find in this matchup is the stronger the Nagoriyuki player is, the less they are going to initiate action with you. They're going to watch you and react to what you're doing, because Nagoriyuki can always react to Anji. Anji doesn't have anything that's that fast that scares Nagoriyuki so much that he has to preemptively swing. Nagoriyuki can always hang back, let you do something to hang yourself, and then punish you for it. That's what makes this matchup so difficult. We catch a Fujin, we'll take it. Gonna get my knockdown. Decide to just go for a throw after I did get the OTG. Again, standing up. I don't know why people fall for this. That shouldn't work, but it do. And I'll take it. We finally force a burst out of him. Same thing. Taking a read here. Like, these are just the kind of things I'm just like, I'm going to do this. I think he's about to swing. And if he swings with any normal there, that's game. I take the round. I take the game there. It just didn't happen. So, but you have to be willing to make those kind of reads in this matchup. You are not going to win this matchup trying to play completely, you know, reactively or trying to out neutral Nagoriyuki all the time. It's just not going to work. His buttons are better than ours. That's just fact. And so we have to be willing to take some risks. And when it works out, you look really smart. And when it doesn't work out, Nagoriyuki gets to fucking style on you like you're seeing here. So again, I'm just like, I got to get back in. Let's go. Force a burst. We'll take that. Same thing. I committed early to this auto guard. What happens? Bonk. It's something that happens a lot. And he's going to take full advantage. Get a whole lot of damage out of this. At least I get to build a lot of meter for a super that's pretty heavily prorated, but not in a good spot in this round. Not at all. Yep. These are the situations that are rough because you have a character that outranges you with his buttons. You have a character that honestly outdamages you based on risk-reward. Like, Nagoriyuki does obscene damage, even off not counter hits. His counter hit damage is almost as gross as Anji's is, and he has to take far less risk to get his counter hits. But a character with an amazing throw range and a good command grab that he can do out of a command dash, that's a problem for a character in Anji who really, really, really wants you to not run at him and not throw him out of his stuff. We kind of rely on people being, you know, complacent and not throwing us out of auto guard. And as soon as they do, it's bad time. This time a much better confirm off a counter hit. I'll take that. Probably should have used Isanogi there so I could get the hard knockdown. But we've got a lot of meter to work with and a pretty nice life lead. Same thing. Taking a flyer on Kacho Fugets. Doesn't work. This was the point in the set where I'm like, this guy is really all about command dash grab. So I need to start backdashing and punishing those. And again, as I said earlier, backdash is perilous in this matchup because if you backdash and it ends up being a normal, you're in bad shape. Finally, one of these actually plays out in my favor. Can't resist the urge to spin to win like we like to do with auto guard, and I throw a Kacho Fugets in a nice spot so I get around there. This move, man. This move is nuts. That move right there, it's so fast. It's even on block, and it can be canceled into things. This move is a nightmare, and the only reason this matchup is remotely manageable is because using this move and canceling out of it causes Nagoriyuki's blood gauge to rise so fast that they can't super abuse this move. But spin is an incredible move for Nagoriyuki. Auto guard another crouching heavy, able to get in. Auto guard another one, able to stay in. Good defense on blocking Rin. So I spin in, get another throw going. There we go. Catch pushing buttons. Drop the combo there. Definitely could have got more damage and allow him gold burst, which is real bad. And I went to throw, and this is going to hurt. Yeah, that's bad news. But it's good news for me. Someone didn't manage their blood gauge. It is really important and vitally important that you keep an eye on this. Keep an eye on Nagoriyuki's blood gauge and familiarize yourself with how blood gauge works. The more Nagoriyuki does specials, the command dash, the double swipe where he slashes up and down, the top, the spinning top move, all those things raise the blood gauge. Every last one of them raises the blood gauge. He can cancel into specials out of other specials like Sin Can and Exert. The more he does that, the even more faster the blood gauge rises up. So you want to be aware when a Nagoriyuki has gone to the well too much and used too many special moves or chained too many things together, and they're on the verge of hitting Blood Rage. Because if they hit Blood Rage and they don't make you block it, that is your chance to just end a round on the spot. Always be aware with how this works. There are some tricky setups Nagoriyukis can do where they'll force you to block Blood Gauge, and they're actually up frames when that happens. So you got to be really careful about that. But just familiarize yourself with all the different ways that Blood Gauge works, because if you miss an opportunity to punish a Nagoriyuki who poorly managed their meter, you're missing a chance to win a game. That is one of the best ways to win a game against Nagoriyuki. So always be aware of how often they've been going to the well on using command dash or other stuff. And then keep in mind when they're hitting stuff that lowers blood gauge. Every time they hit the normals and the blood splatter comes on screen, that slows the blood gauge gain. And obviously command grab makes it start actively draining. So not the best start there. Finally I'm able to get a throw. I bait out a super here. Definitely needed a better punish than this. That was really, really scrambly and sloppy there. Could have got way more. It was good to bait it. Like, I definitely read that correctly. I just didn't make him pay for it. Like, I should have basically, at the very least, broke the wall, but I should have basically won the round right there. Same situation. Like, I have no life left. I have to FD everything. I let off FD because I'm trying to save some of my tension so I can, you know, FD the onslaught that's going to come, and then I just end up getting chipped out. This is another way you can deal with Nagoriyukis who like to go for command grab on your wake up a lot. That's a free gold burst if you know how to time it. And having that kind of meter against Nagoriyuki can be really, really handy, so don't forget about that. I've definitely been doing reading too much in this matchup, by the way. Like, it's been getting blocked a lot. I've been having to spend meter on it. Confirm it this time, which is good. That's what I'm supposed to do. Notice how I did jump dust there? I'm getting real tired of this Aogi not breaking the wall because it doesn't hold people in the super. I'm so sick of it. Anytime I see someone remotely off the ground now, I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna hit you with jump normal. I just want my wall break. This is something I'm trying to do more and more. Blue RC after a wall break, especially when you're the one who broke the wall, is so good because you can just react to whatever. Like, I saw him command dash. This is an easy throw now. Super easy throw punish because I got to react to him doing that. Again, going to the well too much on Rin. I've used Rin way, way, way too much in this set already. Especially with him having super on deck. Should have been doing gapless Nagi-Ha, canceling it. Tried to blue RC to watch again, but didn't get it. So in this case, I have my burst back, so I gold burst again. Jump out of the command dash. Now he has a gold burst. That's bad news for me. And yeah, get caught back dashing. So just not good overall use of my resources. Not good game awareness there. That blue RC was correct. I just didn't hit it forward, so I didn't get anything out of it. This is a real nice confirm. Real nice confirm. You don't see me doing, like, co-loop stuff because I haven't really gotten co-loops down on super heavy characters. And obviously, dropping a combo against a character like Nagoriyuki is awful. So, I'm still a little bit more conservative with my overall combos against this character. Fujin OTG, like I was talking about, so we don't set ourselves up to get thrown. Catch with dust. Not quite enough to kill, but that's a pretty healthy life lead. We're happy with that. Get in. Yep. Catch with forward heavy on the backdash. Perfectly good round. Caught him doing things, made the most of it. That's how you beat this character. Remember when I talked about my bad habit, liking to do charge Fujin at round start? Yeah, guess what character punishes the hell out of that really easily? This one. And a whole lot of others, but he does it especially well. I really got to stop that. It's a really bad habit. Force the burst on a counter hit. Take that. And now I'm in. Yep. This is that situation I'm talking about. You get bursted on, and now you're full screen against Nagoriyuki. So what am I going to do? I either have to commit to air dashing in and risk getting crouching heavied, trying to jump in, risk getting crouching heavied, or try and work my way in with either auto guard or footsies, both of which are rough to do against this character. So I try to spin in, I get gripped. This is a gap, though. This is real important. If they don't go for command grab out of this, there is always a gap here when they try this cute stuff. If you have Kacho Fugets on deck, this is a great spot to let it rip. Sometimes you're going to get command grabbed out of that, but that's a place you can really catch Nagoriyuki's trying to be too cute. So just know that on that you know 3-stand slash thing, there is a gap there if they decide to cancel into something. It's just if they decide to go for a grab or command grab, obviously your auto guard's going to lose terribly, but something that's good to have in the back pocket. So, spin into throw. Again, you're noticing I'm keeping a lot of my pressure very compact and basic here. I'm not trying to do anything too cute with resets or strike throws in this matchup, because something I have noticed, another good chance to catch a gap here. I'm just like, yep. That thing is 0 on block. It is not super plus. You can interrupt stuff when they try to press their advantage there. And I do, thankfully. And get a wall break and get the round. But as I was saying, just the amount of times you have to try and get in with an auto guard, the amount of times you have to try and make a good read is vast in this matchup. You are playing at disadvantage a lot of the time, and you have to accept that. Like, we do not have a way to consistently skew risk-reward in our favor in this matchup. And things are like, I'm making this matchup look a lot easier than it really is, because, to be perfectly honest, this Nagoriyuki is probably not nearly as patient as a lot of the really strong ones I've fought, but still a solid Nagoriyuki player. I'm getting a good feel for his tendencies and what he tends to do in various situations, and that's how you can make this matchup feel manageable, is you have to have a good feel for what your opponent likes to do. And if they're doing, you know, pretty noticeable patterns or doing stuff that's getting, you know, expectable, you got to take advantage of that. You have to make the most of your reads and get the most out of it. But for the most part, once I get to him, I'm not trying to do anything super fancy in terms of frame traps or anything like that, because Nagoriyuki actually has really fast buttons. Able to bait this with the purple RC. This Nagoriyuki is not using it near as much as I see a lot of them do, but his jabs are fast, especially for a character like this. Nagoriyuki can definitely disrespect a lot of your, you know, resets and tick throws and stuff like that. So be careful with how you try to play against them once you have pressure on them. I tend to just try and make them block as long as I can without getting too cute about it, because getting back in can be really challenging against this character. Still doing too much Rin, but I get one to hit here. RC'd, thinking there might have been a burst. There was not. Do it again. This time I don't RC, even though I have tension. Klaige, what are you doing? Another one of those cases where the brain hamster apparently went to get a coffee and left the wheel unattended for a little bit, because, yeah, that was not smart. Not good. Nothing good about that right there. So, poor decision-making and even worse follow-up by not using my resources. But at least I called out 2S there and got a Kacho Fugetsu in return. But I'll go ahead and spin right back into a bite. This is a really important thing to know about. So, Nagoriyuki's can chain this stuff infinitely, right? Until the blood gauge actually reaches max and forces them to go into the blood rage mode, they can keep doing that nonsense, and that's a lot of chip damage. This is gimmicky, and if they go into blood rage mode and you FD and you're out of range, you get to absolutely destroy them for doing that. But that's one of those things where if they realize you have very little life left and you don't have a lot of tension, they can easily chip you out by just going hog and going, I don't care if my blood rage goes off, you're going to die before it gets there. Another auto guard that helps us get in. There's 2S doing 2S things. Yep. Tried to spin too late. Got whacked. Got whacked again. Yep. This mix-up's scary. This mix-up's scary. Because, okay, so I know that there's the option he could command grab here, right? I also know that he might decide to just do a normal. He might decide to do spin and catch me if I backdash. And if I backdash, I'm going to get counter hit here. That's going to feel real bad. I don't want to swing here. There's not nearly enough of a gap to justify swinging here. I'm super down frames. And on top of it, I'm Anji. My fastest button 6 frames. Swinging here doesn't sound very good. So sometimes you're going to guess wrong and you're going to get nommed on. It's what makes this matchup so difficult. Same thing at that range. Max 2S, max 5H. Real rough to deal with. Finally get him to block something. I'm like, I'm going to use my meter. I want to get in. Get a nice tick throw. This was a combination of hesitancy and just going, you know what? That is a shitload of meter. I'm going to assume there's going to be a super or a YRC or something. So let's just watch for a moment. And I go back in, catch and pushing buttons, get another knockdown. That was almost a really sick confirm, but didn't quite get there. One spin. That was a risky OTG, to be honest. He could have easily decided to let a super rip, and I'm dead. But you get away with it. Yeah, I don't want to deal with all that. Again, I'm playing super cautious with all that meter. Bait all that out. So now the meter's gone. We backdash a command grab. This honestly is just the kind of defensive sequences you're going to need to have sometime. I butterflied thinking maybe he'll try and get cute and spin, like do spin through or something like that. Said on top of me. And now I got to weather a storm. That is a lot of meter. And instead of trying to look for somewhere to Cacho Fugetsu, I'm just like, I just want him off of me. I don't need Cacho Fugetsu to win this round. I just need a hit. I need one. He has no burst left. I just need a good hit. So I'm like, let me get some room. And then, luckily, I decide to just hit punch and wait. Because I'm like, if I chain into forward heavy here, I feel fairly confident this player is going to be buffering super looking to kill me for using the gap. And sure enough, I'm right. Hold my own weight, backdash a command grab. Like, that's one of the better defensive sequences I've had in a long time, and probably one of the better ones you've seen me put in these videos, because it's hard to play that defensively for that long against a character who can open you up. Same thing, continuing this. Like, this is just a nice highlight of waiting my turn. Be like, don't do anything, wait your turn. Nope, that's not real. Now it's my turn. Now I can make you block things. Try to follow up fan needles way too aggressively there, though. Get poked out. But yeah, that is one of the first things you should learn in this matchup. Do not let Nagoriyuki's just command dash at you for free. Make them do it in situations where it's their advantage. Don't know why he didn't burst here. Also, so I went ahead and RC'd this because I was worried that I wouldn't be able to get Iseogi out in time. And I also already have 100% meter. So I'm like, it's fine to spin this. I'm going to get it all back very quickly. Doing this is wrong. I should have just tried to do Isanogi without the Roman cancel, because this Roman cancel takes him out of wall stick. Now burst is active again. Like, see how, okay, I get my hit, right? He opted not to burst. Awesome. Now he's wall stuck. Burst is locked out. It's no longer an option. I'm getting this wall break. Except I do this. And now the second I hit that Roman cancel, if he's paying attention or it's a very, aware player, he could burst me here. Luckily, he doesn't, and I get away with this. But that was actually incorrect. I was just wanting to guarantee that I get this hard knockdown. I should have trusted myself to hit Isanogi afterwards. This was a choice bait. I was very, very, very confident that this player was going to reversal in some way. And my thought was, I could go up and then just block on the ground, and if it's super, I get to punish, right? But I'm like, if I do that, there's also a chance that this person decides to either like blue RC and grab me, or wake up command grab me, or something else really cute. So I'm like, I'm going to cover as many bases as I can, because if I run up and just jump at him, if he goes for a throw, he just loses. Like, I'll just kill him for the recovery. If he goes for super, I'll block it. I won't get to punish him for using the super, but he'll be out of meter. He has a very, very large life deficit at this point. So I bank on a very, very safe bait option here. I could have definitely been more aggressive and tried to bait this on the ground and then probably win the match outright. But I wanted to cover as many bases as I could safely, because I was very convinced at this point, this player is not going to wake up, jump up, air throw me. That's not happening. So let's take the safe route. I believe I can get in one more time to finish the job here. And of course, as I say that, I'm having Nagoriyuki problems. I'm eating pokes at max range. I'm getting command grabbed. Getting hit. Not looking good. That safe option's not looking great. Have to RC. Get a hit. Force his burst now. And thank you, Auto Guard, for bailing me out. So yeah, that's that set in a nutshell. This matchup's rough. If you have been playing Nagoriyukis and struggling, don't feel bad. This matchup is really, really hard. I honestly believe this is one of Anji's top 3 worst matchups. You have to take a lot of risks, you have to make a lot of reads, and you have to do it successfully multiple times around to take that round. Nagoriyuki can honestly knock you down once, and you get put in a set of mix-up options that all it takes is you guessing wrong a couple times and it's over. And even if you guess right, that doesn't necessarily mean you get out of the pressure. It just means you don't get hit right away. Because Nagoriyuki is very, very good at enforcing pressure and utilizing his range and the speed of some of his moves, like the spin, the speed of his jabs, all that good stuff. He's rough. He is a very rough matchup. It takes a lot of practice to get any kind of feel for fighting this character. So just be aware that you're going to have to make some reads. You're going to have to use auto guard. Really, really, really strong Nagoriyukis are going to sit there and try and let you initiate and then react to you, and that gets really difficult. That's where you've really got to play very patient footsies. You've got to kind of wiggle around, try and catch them being preemptive on something. It's rough. So don't get overly frustrated if you're struggling in this matchup. That is perfectly normal, and this one's an uphill battle. So I just wanted to get a set out there with some commentary on it. I thought this would probably be useful for people who fight this character and feel really lost, feel like they just get outpoked and then never get to do anything. Hopefully some of the little things like learning when the command dash isn't real, learning how to apply pressure in a compact but intelligent way so that you make the most of your chances when you get in. And then just, look for auto guard where you can. You cannot win this matchup without auto guarding a couple of those big swinging normals. It's just not realistic. There's too much you have to dodge to win these rounds without ever going to auto guard. So just play it as much as you can, get a feel for it. Don't feel bad if you guess wrong a few times. Nagoriyuki has really, really good offensive pressure and really good mix-up that tilts in his favor. So if this is one of those matchups you feel like you're just lost in, that's perfectly normal. Don't sweat it too much. Maybe with this balance update, maybe we'll get a little bit better options for enforcing our offense a little bit. Maybe it won't feel so miserable every time we get in and then we're forced to just do Fujin and pray it works. So anyway, as always, I hope you enjoyed the sets. Hope you enjoyed the matches. Hope you learned a little something a day. Appreciate all the feedback. Thank you again. Getting to 3,000 subs is not something I expect to do anytime soon. You literally doubled my YouTube sub following, so that's pretty neat. So I appreciate all the feedback and all that good stuff. I will keep the matches and stuff coming, and as soon as we get more information on the upcoming balance changes and the new DLC character and all that, obviously I'll have some videos with reaction and all that. So until then, take care of yourselves, be safe, and I will catch you on the next one. Later.